Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be crocheting some baby bloomers. Super cute, super easy to make. They're part of a matching set with my baby bonnet, so check that out in the description below. We are going to be using Lion Brand's baby yarn called Feels Like Butter. It's a super soft, great yarn for all kinds of baby projects. I bought the bonus bundle from Michael's, which is a great place to shop for all of your tools and materials to make these bloomers. For this video, I'm going to be using this nice muted green color called Sage. For my sample here, I used the pink, which is called Blossom. So this is what your finished item is going to be looking like. And then I also bought my hook from Michael's. It's a gold aluminum loops and threads hook, and you're going to need a size H 5mm. So this is a medium weight 4 worsted yarn. I really enjoyed using it for this pattern. It's super soft, great to work with, but you can definitely check out the other baby yarns that Michael's has in their store. So let's get started. We're going to begin with a slip knot. And then go ahead and insert your hook into that loop and tighten it down. And then we are going to chain 50. The beginning of this pattern is going to be starting with the waistband of the bloomers. So here is our chain all finished. And then we are going to double crochet into that third chain from the hook. And then we are just going to keep double crocheting all the way down this entire row, and you should end with 48 stitches. And here is row 1 finished. And then we are going to chain up 2 and turn our work, and then we'll be double crocheting into the first stitch of this row, and then we're going to start our ribbing. So you're going to do a front post double crochet into that next stitch. So insert your hook into the front around the post of that stitch and then finish your double crochet, and then the next one is going to be a back post double crochet. So working from the back of the work, inserting your hook around the post of that stitch, pulling that loop back up through the back, and then finishing that double crochet. And then you're just going to keep repeating those all the way down this row. Front post, back post, front post, back post. And then you're just going to do a regular double crochet into your last stitch of this row. That's what it should be looking like up close. And then you're going to chain up 2 and turn your work, and then double crochet into that first stitch again. And just to show you those front post and back post stitches one more time, you're going to be inserting your hook into the front of that post of the stitch, finishing your double crochet, and then coming from the back of your work, inserting your hook around the post of that stitch, pulling that loop up and finishing your double crochet. And then you are going to keep repeating that second row until you've reached row 4, and this is how it should be looking. Super stretchy material. It's great for a waistband. So continuing, we're going to chain up 2 and turn our work, and now we're going to begin the body of the bloomers. So you're just going to double crochet into the next 24 stitches, so only halfway across. And this is what the end of row 5 should be looking like. So we're going to leave the other half of this waistband unworked, and then we're going to continue on with the body of our bloomers, and later the other end of that waistband is going to get folded over. So continuing on here, we're going to chain up 2 and turn, And then we're going to begin with a decrease. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, insert into the next stitch and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And then we're going to double crochet into the next 20 stitches until we only have 2 stitches left, and then we're going to do another decrease to finish off that row. So finishing off that stitch and working our last decrease. And then we're going to chain up 2 and turn our work. And then we're just going to do that same thing again. So working a decrease first, and then double crocheting throughout the rest of the row until you only have 2 stitches left. Do another decrease, and then you're just going to continue that pattern until you reach row 11. And then once you're finished with row 11, this is what your bloomers should be looking like so far. And now we're just going to continue on. We've already chained 2 and turned our work. And now we're just going to double crochet across for the next 4 rows. So rows 12 through 15 are just regular double crochet, nothing fancy. And this is how you should be looking by row 15. And continuing, we're going to chain 2 and turn our work again. And beginning row 16, we're going to now work an increase. So just 2 double crochets both into the same stitch. That was 1, here's 2. And then you're just going to regular double crochet throughout the middle of the row until you reach your last stitch, and then you're going to work another increase into that last one. So here's the end of row 16 working that increase, first stitch, and our second double crochet for the increase, and then chain 2 and turn. And then we are going to repeat that. So we're just going to keep working an increase in our first and last stitches of each row until we're finished with row 19. And here we are finished with 19 rows. And then we've chained up 2 and turned, and now we're just going to double crochet into each stitch all the way across, finishing with 20 stitches total. And finishing up that last stitch. This is how your bloomers should be looking right now. And we're just going to leave ourselves a nice long tail for sewing, and then trim it and finish off. And tighten it down. And now we're just going to start assembling our bloomers. So you want to fold that front piece up, make sure you've got 2 unworked stitches on either side. Go ahead and thread your needle, and then double check that that first row is the right side so that it's facing out, and then fold over that waistband piece. And now you're going to need 2 stitch markers just to help guide where you're going to be starting and stopping your seam. So place a stitch marker at the beginning and the end, and then we're just going to work through the bottom and the top of those stitches to seam this piece together. And finishing up our whip stitches, finishing that seam. Go ahead and trim that end and weave it in, and then we're just going to use the tail from our foundation chain to stitch together the final side of that waistband. So just lining up the ends of those rows and stitching through them evenly all the way down. This part's really quick. And then to finish off working through my last stitch, I just don't pull my needle quite all the way through, and then I thread my needle through that loop and it finishes it off nicely. So here are the main part of your bloomers finished. Now we are going to begin working on our tie, the last step. So go ahead and begin with a slip knot, and then we are going to chain 100. Make sure you're chaining nice and loose. For this next step, it's going to make it a little easier. So I'm just going to go ahead and skip to the end of my chain here. This is what it should be looking like, nice and loose, open chains. And now we are going to be slip stitching into the back bump of our chains. So not the front of those V's. Flip your chain over and you're going to be working into those back bumps, the spine of your chain. And then just keep working slip stitches in each chain all the way down, and here is mine finished. And then you're just going to trim your end and finish off. So once you've weaved all of your ends, we're going to begin threading our tie through the ribbing of our waistband. Count down to your 5th front post double crochet. Should be right in the middle of your bloomers. And we're going to grab our crochet hook and just insert it right underneath that double crochet, grab the tie and pull it through that ribbing. And then we can do more than one at a time, working all the way around. So I'm working through 4 double crochets at a time and pulling that tie through. And then I'm just going to continue doing that all the way around until I meet back at the middle. So just making sure that your ties wind up nice and even in the front. And now we're just going to tie our bow. So when I wrap that second loop and push it through, I try and pull that tail down so that our loops stay at the top. And we're all done. I hope you loved making this pattern with me, and don't forget to check out the bonnet that matches these bloomers. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for more cute crochet tutorials. Thanks for watching!